Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Are you currently able to get on an airplane? As in fly and take a vacation to, I don't know, Tahiti, or maybe you want to go to Hawaii, or maybe you've waited for that long lost trip to the Bahamas or even Europe. Are you able to board an airplane? Well, you may not be for much longer because currently there is a global effort underway, a worldwide one, to restrict your access to travel. What do I mean by that? How about an organization who runs background checks of every single person that boards an airplane? And get this, they've already got the systems up and ready in Canada and the United States of America, parts of Europe, and even Australia, before even telling the public about it until now. Now, this movement is absolutely absurd, and I wish I could say I was joking, but the truth of the matter is a government official can deny your access into an airplane based off of, well, who only knows what. If it's anything like PayPal restricting political dissidents, we could be in for a whole world of hurt in the very near future. But let me take you to the actual evidence. Check this out. This is on papersplease.org. Government permission to travel, authority to transport. Now, the report goes on to say a white paper on the use of PNR and API data airline reservations published by the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE, in January 2019, very current, lays out more starkly than ever before the goal of governments around the world, a permission-based system of government control and prior restraint in which a common carrier must receive, quote unquote, authority to carry, authority to transport with respect to each passenger before allowing them to board any flight. I wish I could say that was satirical, but in all reality, it isn't. Let me take you to the actual OSCE website. I'm going to pull that up on the screen, but this is the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. And you can see this report here was published January 22nd of 2019. Now, I want to point out some things on the actual document so you can see the criticalness of it. But first, you'll see a map. This is the map that basically show places that are already ready to go. And notice what countries are already green. The United States of America, Canada, Australia, all of those are green. A good portion of South America there. The blue also has half of it in place. So you can see Europe's got a lot of the blue and they've got some greens in the more central Europe there. But the bottom line is, how is it that they've already snuck in these devices? Why is it that the United States of America is already green? Who granted the access? Who gave the permission? Who said it was okay to do background checks via this organization linked with the government, right? Of the governments of the world. Actually, you're gonna see it's 100% linked to the United Nations. Wait a minute now. It's linked to the UN. That means, oh, I get it, a global New World Order, UN, tracking system of humans, of all of us. This is in conjunction with the UN, and it's already green in the United States of America. It makes me think, you know, who allowed this? Who gave the clearance? Why is it already here? Because I didn't approve of anything like this. Neither did you here in America. But we're green, folks. Let's go to the second page of this. You can see what I want to show you is their overall plan. Here's what it says. API and PNR are both types of passenger data collected by the airlines, right? When the API or a PNR system are in place, details of passengers are transmitted by airlines to law enforcement authorities before a flight's departure or arrival to the airport of destination. So all your information is sent to a law enforcement agency officer, as if they don't already have a system on us. But now they're literally talking about background checks. I wonder if that includes social media. It's not real clear, right? But then it goes on. Here's what it says in those little green boxes you see on there. It says API is useful for matching against watch lists, you know, the no-fly list that exists here in America, and risk profiles. Wait a minute. Who's at risk? Could a risk profile be, oh, I know, maybe it's a murderer or a rapist or somebody convicted of a high crime. Well, they don't really classify what a risk profile is. Could it be a channel that gets on the internet and talks about political things that maybe the United Nations doesn't like against the global new world order, like I agree with more of a nationalized supporting my country, and that's simply it. I agree that we in America should make America stronger, not sign up and give away our freedoms to the United Nations, who, by the way, just took it overnight because we're green here in America, right? And they've got these United Nations tracking system on every single person now underway. They've got it and they're working on it here. But wait a minute. So they're going to detect risk profiles. And hey, if they don't like what I have to say as a political person, could they restrict my flight? Yeah, they could, because there's no real clear cut on what restricts a flight or what doesn't. But it says that API is useful for matching against watch list risk profiles and detecting whether inadmissible persons are attempting to travel. Who is an inadmissible person? Who is a risk profile? It further states, an IAPI system allows for two-way communication, so you're talking to someone in near real time. The airlines transmit the API message on a per person basis to the requesting authority at the time of check-in. So you go, you check in, they're sending real-time information on their computer to someone else, seeing if you're approved, right? Do that. Well, law enforcement agencies have the opportunity, very important part here, to decide whether a certain person is allowed to or not to board a plane by issuing a board or no board message. Well, what would keep me from going on an airline? Imagine if Stalin got his hands on something like this, or imagine if the United Nations gets their hands on something like this. Let's just wipe out our enemies who don't want to submit to a global order, who don't want a UN calling the shots over their country, who doesn't want the global order to decide what rules happen in America. How about America decides for America? That's another thing. But it goes on to say this. In this green box, it says governments can prevent the arrival of inadmissible persons, and second, airlines don't even have to cover the cost of detention and return, which means you're going to get detained. Denied access, detained. For what? Trying to fly a plane? Trying to go on vacation, detained, and you pay for it. We pay for it. Or I don't know, right now this is United Nations, but it looks like this is focused a lot on Europe at this moment, but since we're already green in America, how much time before this gets here? They're already implementing this thing. Like, they already got the systems in place. But it goes on to say, here is how the United Nations is involved. Here's the part on the UN. In that little box there, it states, in December of 2017, the UN Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 2396, building upon previous resolutions 2178 and 2309. It calls upon member states to collect. We're a member state of the UN, right? The United States is. So it's saying, United States, you're going to collect API and PNR information because 2396 was adopted under our chapter of the United Nations Charter. Compliance with this obligation is mandatory for all member states. United States is a member state of the UN. So the United Nations just dictated to you, America, that this is mandatory. So that means that since 2017, 2 years ago, the United Nations has been collecting information on us. And our information, our data if you have flown anywhere since 2017, it's already being sent to the United Nations, a global tracking system for the UN that's mandatory. Who voted on this? Who said that we would put in this mandatory system to run background checks through a private organization that just so happens to be linked to the UN? I don't remember our Congress people voting on this. I don't remember anyone. You see, this is why I'm against, like, the United Nations, because they just pushed a mandatory law under our nose here in America, on the American people, and you and I, our Congress members, none of us had any say. Why? Because we're a member of the UN and they told us it was mandatory. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at tradelikeagenius.com. This is an academy that can really teach you where to put your money, how to place your money. It talks to you about stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, precious metals, everything under the sun. And it's actually an amazing system that I personally have profited on because of what I've been able and the information that I've been able to get from tradelikeagenius.com. So check it out in the description box below. And by the way, if you don't get the bundles are on special all the way till tonight. So get it now. But if there are non-bundled things that you want, you can get 40% off using the code Valentine's. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on everything. What do you think about this New World Order global tracking system and the government giving you or not giving you access to a plane and running background checks on everyone and considering some to be risk profiles? I'd love to get your thoughts. Anyhow, I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.